Hey, what is going on, guys? Andrew here from Skidmore Fitness, back with another video. In this video, I want to talk about something that I think is extremely important, especially given the time of year. I have identified and chosen what I think are 7 of the most important tips to help you stay lean during this holiday season and for future holiday seasons to come. And if you really want to extend it, really just whenever you want. But particularly pertaining to the holiday season and the winter months. So I know that Thanksgiving was just a couple days ago, and I know that, you know, a lot of people struggle, especially this time of year, because they want to eat food and enjoy themselves and do this and that and party and whatever and have a good time, which you should do. That's important. It's kind of like the festivities and everything. But at the same time, people are often, you know, overly self-conscious to a degree, and the last thing I want is people to kind of shame themselves or get down on themselves, get upset with themselves, because that isn't the healthiest mindset. And that, you know, so without further ado, the 7 tips to help you stay lean during the holiday season. So the following tips are in no particular order, but number 1 is planning ahead of time what you are going to eat. There are multiple ways you could literally go about doing this. In terms of planning, you could do one, you know, you could plan out all your calories, all the macronutrients, exactly what you're going to eat, and that is going to be the most accurate way to, you know, keep tabs on what you are eating. And this includes drinks too. But even just saying, oh, I'm going to have 1 plate of this, 1 bowl of this, or 1 serving, or whatever, you know, whatever you want to weigh it, whether it be in ounces or pounds or grams or whatever, just simply planning ahead of time what you are going to eat, having a mindset of, okay, I'm going to a holiday party, or, you know, it's Thanksgiving, I know it passed, but, or, you know, a New Year's party is coming up. Having an idea of what you are going to eat and sticking to that is going to set up your mindset so that you won't overeat. Prior to Thanksgiving, I actually planned out what I was going to eat because I didn't want it to turn into some crazy cheat day, or I didn't want to overeat. And guess what? The next day, my weight was actually less than the day before, which was crazy to me because I had a refeed day. And for those who have been watching my previous videos, you know that I'm cutting body fat right now. So being able to see that was extremely awesome. I'm not gonna lie, and it made me very happy, and I was proud of myself because I stuck to my plan. The number 2 tip for staying lean during the holidays is kind of a mental, psychological kind of tip. And it revolves around the concept of I can't versus I don't. So a lot of times you hear people say, you know, that they're dieting, or they're trying to change their nutritional habits to reach some goal, right? And what often happens is that people will say, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't eat cake or ice cream or cookies or whatever they're trying to avoid. Whatever they're trying to avoid, they're saying, I can't eat that. That is giving the wrong mental picture in your head. Instead, use the phrase, I don't eat that, instead of I can't. If you tell yourself, I don't eat that, it is going to solidify it more in your head what you choose, keyword there is choose, to put into your body. And what I want to do is actually reference a study in the Journal of Consumer Research, which divided people into 2 different groups. One group that was faced with the temptation to eat something told themselves that they can't eat something, for example, ice cream, while the other group told themselves that they don't eat something. So what were the results? The people who told themselves that they can't eat something ended up eating a chocolate bar 61% of the time, while the people that told themselves that they don't eat something, being a chocolate bar, ate it only 36% of the time. So that right there goes to show that it's not so much, you know, it's not all physical things. It's not what you are putting in your mouth, what you are drinking. The mental side of things, the psychological process that's going on inside your brain, that is important too, if not more important than the foods that you are actually consuming and or trying to avoid. The number 3 tip is to simply stay active. So what does this really mean? Well, I live in the United States, and in the Northern Hemisphere, it's getting into that late fall, early winter kind of vibe. It's getting colder, and people tend to stay indoors more often. This means that they're not going to be expending as much energy, they're not going to have as much physical activity. On the other side of the equation, the holidays usually involve more food consumption, more calorie consumption. And if you're decreasing your energy expenditure while increasing your caloric intake, that means that weight gain is going to inevitably occur. So, simply put, be more active. If you can manage to go out for a walk or a run or hit the gym several days a week just to stay active and stay healthy, primarily to stay healthy, because that is what this is all about, then you're gonna find it much easier to stay lean during the holidays. Staying active is a scientifically proven, surefire way to make sure that you have your weight management under control. So the 4th tip is kind of a fun one, and that involves cooking / making, baking your own foods and desserts. This is pretty self-explanatory. Ideally, you have complete control over exactly what you are putting into your food. If you want to make like a low-calorie cake or whatever dessert item, you can actually have complete control over that. That way you don't have to worry about eating something that has a totally ridiculously high calorie count, which if you have seen in like grocery stores when shopping for like dessert items and treats and everything, you'll often find that the caloric content is ridiculous. Like a piece of cake will be 1,000 calories, sometimes more, sometimes less, but it's just crazy ridiculous. And I don't necessarily mean just making your own desserts and everything. This can include your other food items as well. The more food that you prepare yourself, the more control you're going to have over the ingredients, the nutritional content, and above all else, the caloric content. If you have more control over the food that you are putting into your body, then you're going to have more control over your weight, you're not going to gain as much fat, and you are going to stay leaner. The 5th tip for staying lean during the holiday season is going to be drinking 1 to 2 cups of water right before you eat a meal. So we all know that hydration is extremely important. Getting in enough fluids per day is extremely important for pretty much every physiological process that goes on in the body, period. But what drinking water right before eating is going to do is it's going to fill up your stomach. It's going to take up some of the volume in your stomach and will actually help curb your appetite and will allow you to not eat quite as much as you normally would if you hadn't drinking the water to begin with. Drinking water in general is going to help curb your appetite. It's going to make you feel full. It's going to make you feel good. And above all else, drinking water right before you eat is going to allow you to not eat quite as much food. Less food means less potential weight gain. The 6th tip for staying lean during the holidays is prioritizing your sleep. I know this is an extremely busy time of year. People are traveling, people are shopping, people are trying to, get more work done so that they can take more time off for the holidays, spending more time with their children, family, loved ones, and friends. It's a very, very busy time of the year. And oftentimes, people are going to slash time off of their sleep. And this can be extremely detrimental. So why is sleep so important? Well, there's 2 hormones that namely will be regulating your hunger. They're called leptin and ghrelin, and they work kind of hand in hand together. Leptin is your satiety hormone, making you feel full, whereas ghrelin is your hunger hormone. So what do these have to do with sleep? Well, your sleep levels will actually be regulating these hormones. And if you're not getting enough sleep, then these hormones are not being regulated for optimal regulation, which is going to throw off your hunger. if your body is telling you that you're more hungry when you actually aren't, but you therefore eat more food, then you're going to risk gaining excess weight and unwanted body fat. In addition to leptin and ghrelin, we have to take a look at insulin. And when we are sleep deprived, it decreases our body's ability to use insulin properly. The last thing that we want is a reduction in cellular insulin sensitivity. So do yourself a favor, you know you want to get more sleep, prioritize that sleep. Make that a priority and you will feel better, perform better, and above all else, you will have more control over your weight. The final tip, and this might not apply to necessarily everyone, but it is to limit alcohol consumption. So before you start thinking that I'm telling you you can't drink alcohol, that is not the case. I'm just saying limit it, maybe cut back a few drinks. Here's the truth about alcohol. Alcohol is actually not bad. It's what it gets converted to in the body, which is bad. Alcohol gets converted into something called acetaldehyde, and acetaldehyde is extremely toxic to the body. Extremely toxic. And all this acetaldehyde is going to be processed by the liver. And any food, any other calories that you do consume with the alcohol on the side, which people normally combine food and alcohol together, the body is going to prioritize that alcohol processing that acetaldehyde to detox the body. And it's going to essentially put the food that you have in your stomach on pause. It's going to halt that. So you're just going to be sitting there kind of just bloated and not feeling very good. So I'm not saying cut out alcohol completely. I'm just saying maybe cut back a few drinks. It is undoubtedly going to help you stay leaner, especially with the holidays, because there's Christmas parties and New Year's parties and whatever other parties are going on, Kwanzaa parties, Hanukkah parties, whatever floats your boat. Usually alcohol is consumed, especially during this time of year. So by just cutting back a few drinks and doing it more so in moderation, then that is going to help you stay lean. If you stuck with me through all 7 of these tips, I hope you found them super helpful and useful. And if you have learned anything new, and if you have found this information useful and beneficial, I would really appreciate it if you would like the video and leave a comment down below of which tips you are going to implement. If you haven't already, check out my Facebook and Instagram. The links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.